to connect to your central axis. And then we'll do the opening mantra. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. And inhale for the Om. Om. Vande Gurunan Charanarvinde. Sandarshita Swatma Sukhavabode. Vishreyase Jangalikayamane. Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantiyai. Abahu Purushakaram. Chankachakrasi Darinam. Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam. Pranamami Patanjalim. Om. Okay, so we're going to start with Surya Namaskaras A. We're just going to go through it on our own. And down dog, I'm going to say 5 after 5 breaths, and we'll hop back up. So I'm not going to, tell you to reach your arms up. I think everyone's done Surya Namaskara before, I hope. Well, since I don't know your practice, Jamie, in case you haven't, I will lead you through the first one, but then the others will just do them on our own. So Surya Namaskara A, I will lead you through this one. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Belly in, exhale, forward fold, keep the back long. Trini, inhale, head up, lengthen the spine. Chatwari, exhale, take it back to a high plank. 2 Chaturanga. And then Pancha, inhale, upward facing dog. Strong legs, arch the back. Lead with the pelvis, down dog, and breathe here. In down dog, think about moving your shoulders away from your ears, lifting your sit bones up, and lengthening the back. So it should feel like somebody was behind you and kind of pulling your hips up and back. So Erica, try to lengthen out that hinge at your shoulders and keep the back as long as you can get it. This is 2. Gazes to the navel and keep pulling the navel into the spine so the low belly tones. 3. 4. And 5. Empty your lungs, look where you're going. Inhale, hop or walk your feet up to your hands. Exhale, fold down over your legs. Inhale, come all the way back up, sweep the arms up and over your head. Exhale, press your arms to your sides. All right, repeat. Five. Third one. 5. Fourth Surya Namaskara. 5. Last one. 5. Surya Namaskara B. I'll take you through the first one. Inhale, Utkatasana, drop your butt, reach your arms. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold down over your legs. Inhale, Trini position, head up, back is long. Chatwari, Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, upward facing dog. Shat, exhale, down dog. Virabhadrasana A on the right. The right foot lunges up, drop the hips, reach the arms. Long breath all the way down through Chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, and exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Take the left foot forward, and inhale, reach the arms up. Long exhale all the way down to Chaturanga. Inhale for up dog, exhale to downward facing dog, 5 breaths here. And 5. Inhale, take the feet up to the hands. Exhale, fold down over the legs. Inhale, Utkatasana, drop your seat, reach your arms. Exhale, Samasthiti. 2 more, second time. 5, 5. Last time. 5. Padangustasana. Take your feet hip distance apart. Catch your big toes. 5. Padahastasana. Slide your hands underneath your feet and repeat. 5. Trikonasana. Right hand down, left arm up. Try to see your left hand with both of your eyes. 5. Second side. 5. Parivrtta Trikonasana. 5. Second side. 5. Samasthiti. Parsvakonasana, side angle. 5. 5. Revolve it, twisting, Pravrita Parsvakonasana. 5. Second side. 5. Samasthiti. Prasarita Padottanasana. A. 5. B position. 5. C. 5. And Prasarita D. 5. Samasthiti. And Parsvottanasana. Five. Second side. Five. Samasthiti. Okay, we'll take a vinyasa. And you're going to hop forward to a little squatting position. And I'll face the camera. You can watch either Paul or me. It doesn't matter who. So if you're new to this pose, support your heels with something. You could put a block under your heels or whatever. It's the right arm first. We reach the right arm up, get the right side long. And then I'll do a modified version. So you can either bind and catch one knee, like I'm doing, if I can do it, or you can do what Paul's doing and catch both legs. And five. There's no vinyasa, switch sides. Again, you can modify by catching just one knee or you can try to catch them both. And I do suggest keeping something underneath your heels. Five, release. Take a vinyasa. Kranchasana. Jump through. Sitting on something is an option here. If you want to sit on a block, you're just going to put it right underneath your butt. Fold the right leg back. Catch the left foot. Inhale to prepare. So the back's long, the leg is straight. And then try to pull them together. This would be the state of the pose, but if that's too much for the hamstring, just keep it open. The weight is over the pelvis. Avoid leaning back. Try lifting up instead. And five. Inhale, open the space between your leg and your chest. Hands down. Take a vinyasa. Second side. This time the left leg folds back. You're going to catch your right foot. Inhale to prepare. There's some space around between your leg and your chest. And then exhale and pull yourself together. Happy, you have to move. Go. Keep the left leg very anchored down to the mat. So the left leg shouldn't move at all. And the weight is over the pelvis. Five. Inhale, straighten the arms. Put some space between your leg and your chest. release it, and go back to chaturanga. Okay, from downward facing dog, come forward to a high plank position, lower down to chaturanga, and then lower down to your belly. Shalabhasana. Take your arms to your sides, palms up, feet together. And then on your inhale, lift everything except for your hands off the mat. So you're lifting the head, you're lifting the chest, you're lifting the legs, but the knees are straight. Five, change the hand position. So now the hands are underneath the shoulders. They're kind of in chaturanga arms. The legs stay lifted and straight. This is 2. And 5. Feet down, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, lead with the pelvis, downward facing dog. We're going to do some Bekasana prep now. So come to a kneeling position on your mat. So we're going to do Virasana, hero's pose. If it's not something that you normally do, you might want to sit on a block. So if you're sitting on a block, you just are kneeling, feet outside the hips, butt on a block. And then from here, you can maybe try to lean back a little bit. If you use the block, you could put another block behind you and lie down onto the block, or if you have a bolster, even better. Or if it's available to you, just try to lean back. Reach the arms over the head to really lengthen the whole front side of the body. Press the knees into the mat so that you're feeling a stretch for the quads, for the hip flexors, opening the front side of the body. Candy, can you go away? Go lie down. All right, 5. Come on up and let's do a vinyasa. Okay, come forward. He's being really bad this morning. It's distracting. Come forward to a high plank and lower all the way down into your belly. All right, we're going to start with the one-legged version. So Ekapada Bekasana. You want your left forearm parallel to the short edge of your mat. Bend your right knee. Catch the inside of your right foot. Do your best to pivot your hand so your elbow comes up and your fingertips point forward. And then press down, press the foot down outside the hip. Pull the chest square. You want to avoid twisting here, which is very natural to want to twist. And breathe. Okay, let's release and change sides. So the right forearm is now parallel to the short edge of the mat. Catch the inside of the left foot, and then try to pivot the hand so the fingertips point forward. So it's a big stretch for the shoulder. Just keep trying to push the heel outside of the hip. And release. Take both legs down. Inhale to an upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to the high plank. Lower down to chaturanga. And then lower onto your belly. So now we'll do the full Bekasana. You have the option of repeating either thing that we just did. If full Bekasana isn't something that you normally do, I'm going to show you a modified version. Paul's will do the full version. So if you want to modify, I would suggest putting a block or a bolster or even a pillow right underneath your chest. A foam block's a little bit more comfortable here. Grab the feet and just press them down outside the hips. Eventually, you're going to be able to pivot the hands. That might be a lot right now for the shoulders. Don't worry about it if it's not happening yet. And then 5, release Inhale for an upward facing dog. Exhale to a downward facing dog. Dhanurasana. Inhale forward to the high plank. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga, and then all the way to your belly. Bend your knees, and then use your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings. Lift the feet up off the mat. So the legs are hovering. And then reach back, catch your ankles. Inhale, pull everything up. Five. Release. Inhale for an upward facing dog. Exhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale forward to a high plank. This time it's Parshva Dhanurasana. So you start the same way. Lift up into Dhanurasana again, same as before. So you're in a bow shape. And then you take it to Parshva. You take it to the side. Roll to your right side. Five, come back to the middle. Reestablish yourself in Dhanurasana. So pull up and then roll to the left. Take it back up to the middle. 5 more breaths. And 5. Ustrasana. Hop forward to your knees. And you want to, you're basically in Samastitihi on your knees. So you've got a couple of options here. Option 1, hands to the sacrum and do like a little half camel. Option 2, pop the heels up so that the feet are a little bit higher. Put your hands to your heels and lean back. Or the final option is the full version, which is feet flat on the mat. And go ahead into whichever version of Ustrasana you want to do for 5 breaths. And 5, come on up. Fold down, Lolasana, lift up and hop back. Laghu Vadrasana, hop forward to your knees. Okay, I'll give you a couple of options here as well. Option 1 is to stand on your knees, reach your arms forward, hinge back at the knees so you kind of go back at a diagonal line, then come back up so you're not going to the full pose. And then option 2 is to use a block for your head as you lean back. And option 3 is to go all the way down to the floor. So if you're using the block, I usually set my block up a few inches beyond my feet. Catch your ankles or your calves, whatever works best for you. Go back like you had a plank tied to you. So stay really strong through the body. And 5. Okay, go ahead, take a vinyasa. Okay, Kapotasana research time. Paul, what's the first researching pose that Sim would do? I can't remember. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is against a wall. I'm going to turn the camera and I'll have Paul demonstrate it because he does regularly and I don't. So what you want to do is set up against a wall, and you don't need a big wall space. You can see that our wall is just pretty little here. And you're going to want to pull your mat up to the wall because otherwise you're probably going to hurt your knee. And then you slide one foot up the wall and you lunge forward with the other. So it's a really big hip flexor stretch. And, again, you might even want to fold the mat in half, and then he's going to reach up the wall. So, he's opening the front side of his body, but he's really opening through the right hip flexor and the right quad. And then he's going to scoot forward a little bit and drop into the hips. So it almost becomes something like a little bit more of a back bend, but it's still really deep in the hip flexor. And then if you want to, from there, you could reach back for the foot or the wall. I mean, probably the wall is a little bit more realistic, but you could potentially go for the whole foot there, if that feels possible. Tim isn't a backbender, so he always does a lot of research to get ready for Kapotasana, which is definitely one approach of working the posture. It can be really effective. And then change your sides. And so you start with the knee bent, the shin up over the wall, the foot against the wall, and just your back against the wall. When you're ready, if you want to reach your arms up over the head, you can reach your arms up over the head. And then scoot it out and drop into the hip a little bit more. Yeah, good. Yep, that's right. Yep, and if you want to kind of reach back and make that a back bend, you can. So you're in a little bit of a lunging back bend. That's good. Perfect. Okay, so I was thinking we might try something a little bit more advanced now. It's always something Tim did. I know that some of you are going to be fine with it, but if you don't feel safe doing it, sorry, I'm looking at you guys, so I'm not looking at the camera. If you don't feel safe doing it, obviously don't do it. But so what we'll do with is we'll play with Viparita Dandasana. So Viparita Dandasana, it's from third series, but don't don't freak out. So why don't I show you just a modified version of Viparita Dandasana? Chris, I know you know it, you can just do it. But if you don't know Viparita Dandasana, um, and Paul, you can just Paul's going to do the full version. But what I suggest doing for it, if it's new to you, is to actually come into an Urdhva Dhanurasana, just a regular old back bend like you would do at the end of practice. And then what you're going to do from here is bend your elbows, put your head down, and come into handstand arms. I'm sorry, headstand arms. Here, so you interlace your fingers and you pull your elbows together. And then from here, you're just going to walk your feet out and push. So this is the same arm position that your arms are in Kapotasana. You want to pull the elbows in, push them down to the mat. You can walk your feet in a little bit. You could lift your head up, and you just keep working the upper back and the shoulders. So Tim always taught it the way Paul's going to do it now, the way that it's done in third series. If you want to try this more traditional entrance from headstand, my suggestion is to go to a wall because it's scary at first. It's actually not, it's really not that hard, but it's really scary. So we're going to play with this in the live training in April, so don't worry about it too much right now. But if you wanted to play with it a little bit on the wall, that would be my suggestion, is to just kind of go to the wall. And then, you take your breaths, and then from there, you could try to kick back over. But the version I did is much easier. So just do one of those versions, whatever you're comfortable with. Good. Yeah, those are good. So everyone could try to walk your feet in a little bit more narrow. So you guys are still in the Urdhva Dhanurasana arm, a leg position, which is fine. So try walking the feet in a little bit more narrow and kind of pushing. Like that's really good, Erica. Yeah, these look awesome. Good, Mike. Awesome. All right, Rebecca, that looks awesome. Okay, and then come out of it however you want, and let's take a vinyasa. So you probably aren't. You probably are just going to want to kind of lie down, roll over, and take a vinyasa. Those were the only two he really did, right? Yeah. And then hop to your knees. And from here, go for Kapotasana. If you don't normally practice Kapotasana, a nice way to do it would just be to come about arm's distance from the wall, reach the arms up, and do a back bend into the wall like I'm doing now. You can maybe even walk your hands down a little bit. But I think a lot of you normally have a version of Kapotasana that you do. So just go for that now. Just let's get it over with. Make sure you're breathing. You got it. Whenever you're ready, just kneel on your mat. Okay. Okay, let's do a vinyasa from here. Let's make sure we do that little lolasana to release the back. So thighs and the chest kind of touch, push up from there, and then hop back. Lolasana serves as a counter pose. We're going to skip Supta Vajrasana only because it's pretty hard to do without a partner, and I don't want everybody running around trying to find furniture to get underneath. We're going straight to Bakasana, hop forward into a squatting position. Are you okay? Okay. Open up your knees. Take your knees pretty close to your armpits and squeeze your knees into your arms. And then kind of lift your butt a little bit, but not too much. Shift the weight forward. Your arms are still bent. And then try to straighten the arms. And 5. So Bakasana B, you hop into. If you normally hop into it, please go right ahead and hop into it. If you don't normally hop into Bakasana B, just go back and repeat A for today. Okay, that was 5. All right, now we have a couple of nice transition postures. Jump through, sit down. Bharad Vajrasana. Feel free to do this on a block if it's too much for your knees. Left leg folds backwards like Turanga Mukha Ekapada. Right leg comes to a half lotus position. Bind. If you can. If you can't bind, don't worry. Just put your hand behind your back. Left hand goes underneath the right knee. The back is long and you twist. Five, face forward, take a vinyasa. Second side. The right leg folds back. The left leg comes to a half lotus position. Your knees they're fairly wide here. Then bind if it's available to you. Right hand underneath the left knee. Lengthen your back. Look over your left shoulder. And 5, turn and face forward. Release and take your vinyasa. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Jump through, sit down. Left leg folds, it's the bottom leg. Right leg comes around the top, so the right foot's outside the left knee. Try to drop both sit bones down. Hook the left arm to the right knee. If it's available, reach it down your shin, but if it's not available, just kind of hook it. And then take the right hand and bring it around your back. Face forward. Release. Take a vinyasa. Second side. Twist to your left. Five. Face forward. Release. And vinyasa. Okay. Ekapada Shirshasana research. So we're going to start in I think, is it called a dragon lunge? It has a name in vinyasa, lizard pose. Step your right foot forward. And then just kind of, maybe you can put your back knee down if you like and come onto your elbows here. You could also keep your back knee off the mat. That's kind of a personal preference. You could switch back and forth a little bit. And then if you wanted to try to tuck your right shoulder behind your right knee, you could do that. And if you want to try to even put your head underneath your leg a little bit, you could also do that. And then put your hands down. And did he go right into pigeon or he took a vinyasa? We'll do a vinyasa. I can't remember how Tim used to teach it exactly. And then take your left foot forward and we'll do the same thing on the other side. And you're going to put your forearms down if you want. It's kind of optional, whatever you do here. Just you do what gets you into your hip the best. And experiment with on the hands or on the elbows. Experiment with knee up or knee down. Try to tuck your arm behind your left leg. And you might even want to try to tuck your head behind your leg or just get deeper. And then come out of it, put your hands down, step back, chaturanga. Okay, take your right leg forward into a pigeon posture. And keep the right foot flexed here if you can. And then lean down over the leg with your body weight. And take your hands a little bit toward the outside of the right side. So if you're on your right leg, take both hands, or at least one hand, to the outside of that leg and kind of push yourself into the hip more. So you want to push your body weight toward your left a little, and that should get you slightly deeper into the hip. And then come up, take your back leg forward, and we're going to do that. We're going to do a reclined version of the pose. So hug yourself, like your legs in that same shape, but you're hugging it. And then you're going to lie down. And so it's like a reclined pigeon pose. And then if you can work your foot a little bit out to the side, so the foot's going to come toward your midline, and the knee goes out to the side. Sorry, I said that wrong. Okay, from here, you have options. You can stay exactly here and keep working more deeply into the hip, or if you can put your foot behind your head, or if you're close, come into Kashyapasana. So this is the first foot behind head posture in third series, but it's actually, I don't want to say that it's easier, but the back's supported in it by the mat, so maybe it's a little bit safer anyway. So just come into this pose if you can, foot behind head in Kashyapasana instead of seated. Breathe if you are here, or even if you're not here, keep breathing. But everyone breathe. but work into the pose. If you do have your foot behind your head, you can kind of experiment with the left leg being straight or the left foot pushing into the mat. And then no matter where you are, come up to seated. And if you're still working the pose, keep hugging the knee into the chest. If you manage to get your foot behind your head, go ahead and fold forward into Ekapada Shirshasana. And 5. Inhale, head up. And then from here, take a vinyasa. And we'll come into pigeon on the left. The left leg comes forward. I suggest keeping the left foot flexed. And then if it feels okay, lean your body weight over the leg. Take your left hand outside the left side of the mat and just kind of push yourself a little bit to the right. And then come up tall again and take your back leg forward. And hug the left knee or the left leg into the chest, just like how you were in pigeon, except now you're seated. And from here, Lie down onto your back for the reclined pigeon pose. And you can choose to stay here and just work it more deeply by moving the leg out to the side more. Or if you want to go for Kashyapasana, you can do your best to put your foot behind your head. And then breathe there. Um, Again, remember you can experiment with the leg straight or bent and pushing into the mat. Come up to seated. You can keep working it from a seated position or forward fold. And 5, take your vinyasa. Okay, jump through and lie down. We are back to back bends. So let's start with a bridge pose just to release the foot behind head work a little bit. Knees bent, heels underneath your knees, arms to your sides, and then on whenever you're ready, come up into a bridge pose. And lower down. Okay, we're gonna do 4 more back bends. If you want to repeat bridge, you can, but I think probably most of you are ready for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Five. Come back up whenever you're ready. Five. And again, whenever you're ready, stand back up for the third one. And after this third one, if you want to stand all the way up to your feet, be my guest. Of course, if you stand onto your feet, you're going to want to drop back into your next back bend if available to you. Go ahead whenever you're ready. Okay, and then from wherever you are, come into a seated forward bend. So you either roll up or sit down and take a forward fold. And then from here, prepare for the shoulder stand sequence. So lie down in Tataki Mudra, which is basically a lying down Samasthiti. And then when you're ready, take your feet up and over your head for shoulder stand. Campy, go away. And take your legs over your head into Halasana. To Karni Pidasana, knees to the ears. All the way back up. Urdhva Padmasana. Pindasana. Matsyasana. Uttara Padasana. And then either Chakrasana or sit up and take a vinyasa. Shirshasana. Lower halfway down. And all the way back up. Balasana, child's pose. Take a vinyasa from here. Jump through, sit down, and take lotus position or crisscross legs. Ten, Padmasana, index finger and thumb together. And Utplutihi, uproot your lotus. And 10. Okay, and we'll finish with the closing mantra. Take an inhale to prepare, and exhale for the Om. Om. Swasti Brajabhyaha Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.